talk about what's happening with the upcoming skirmishes in the Middle East, where we see Israel and Lebanon at war, so to speak. It was the beginning of war. What's happening with the dollar itself and then crypto, you would say?
I would say I think we're going to start seeing kind of a little bit of the collapse of this whole BRICS, like the talk of the BRICS currencies, especially with the Middle East in such conflict. And if hopefully it doesn't escalate anymore. I don't want any loss of more human life, honestly, because I mean that's bullshit. It's always innocent people that die over just these old men trying to gain more, right? But they're going to be using dollars. It's unless they want to use cheap Chinese-made bullshit, they're going to need American hardware or European hardware. So, like the BRICS currencies have always been sort of a little bit of a joke. It's just mostly that they've essentially kind of it's kind of like a liquidity pool. Essentially, they just kind of added more liquidity to their side so they can trade their currency a tiny bit more. But for the most part, it's going to be business as usual. Dollar is going to kind of reign supreme, but they're going to have to start printing money.
Yeah, and in terms of crypto, the last time we saw, a major invasion and stuff like that was when Russia went into Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
And actually, we had about a 3 weeks to 1 month pump in crypto at that time. And so we've seen Larry Fink from BlackRock, the CEO. He's really, since about 6 months before the ETF for Bitcoin was approved, which was in January of this year, January 10th. So the 6 months before that, so about mid 2023 when they started applying for it, basically Larry Fink's been saying Bitcoin is a flight to quality, right? And he says, whenever there's stuff going on in the world, people are uncertain. Whenever there's fear, buy Bitcoin. And so they're making this narrative from a Wall Street perspective, basically for whenever there's some chaos that starts happening in the world, hey, just go buy a little Bitcoin. Right. And so I think a lot of what can happen on Bitcoin's price, because it is a liquid asset, it's probably one of the easier assets to sell into cash during those times. So you do sometimes see sell-offs happen and then buybacks really quickly. And so by having that narrative out there for Wall Street, it kind of gets Wall Street to be like just continuously buying whenever there's any problems. So for, since BlackRock now I think is behind Satoshi Nakamoto is one of the top wallet holders of Bitcoin in the entire world. They're basically talking their books, right? So they're trying to set up a scenario so that when any of that stuff does happen, that Bitcoin, even if it were to drop, holds up pretty well, and then might even pump during those periods as well if they really can get that narrative going.
Damn.
And Bitcoin has acted like that in the past. It's very uncorrelated compared to any other asset to traditional markets. It doesn't mean it's not unaffected by those markets. It just usually means it can bounce back a lot quicker.
Yeah, and I want to say one last thing because some people in the chat are saying that like, what is he talking about? The dollar's going to collapse. Every currency is getting weaker. It's all relative, right? Like the dollar is just is the cleanest, dirtiest shirt in the bin. All these fiat currencies are trash. They're all trash.
Worth less over time.
Right.
Yeah. We've seen Bitcoin be pretty stable over the past year. It's held around 60,000 for the majority of the year. Now that we're closing out, is it fair to say? I mean, for all the people that cryptocurrency is bullshit, blah blah. But we're seeing people like Larry Fink talking about cryptocurrency. We're seeing people in the traditional like old boomer, generation that typically would never be investing in this stuff.
Fidelity, VanEck.
Yes.
VanEck came out with a meme coin index.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin has stayed stable. You got the big banks and traditional investors that are always on the S&P 500, boosting it. We had ETFs come out for Ethereum and for Bitcoin.
That people said that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
That everyone was saying that wasn't going to happen.
Is it fair to say it's here to stay now? For all the naysayers that have been talking shit for decades, almost 2 decades now, because crypto came out 2008. I remember Bitcoin was like a thing in 2008 came out, roughly.
Big Daddy Miguel on the block, yes sir. Pulse 6 to 0.01.
Big Daddy Miguel.
There we go.
Hey man, pause, bro.
Sorry, you were saying that, Jordan?
So what was the last thing you said there?
No, I said it's here to stay pretty much.
Yes.
Contrary to what traditional and old school investors that would I'm in the stock market, I'm in index funds, cryptocurrencies, bullshit, etc. I guess it kind of your moment of I told you so.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing that BlackRock is really going towards is real world assets. So they want to tokenize anything that you can trade, right? So one of the easiest things to tokenize will be like a stock, right? So like, for example, Tesla. Hey, You can't trade Tesla on the weekends because the stock market's not open on weekends.
Yep.
But you can have this crypto tokenized derivative that basically you could trade 24/7, and then when the markets come back online, there might be some arbitrage there, right? It might not be exactly the same price. That Wall Street loves that shit, right? And so it just adds another layer where Wall Street can basically make more bets and make more money. And you might have also heard Trump say that he wants to have a Bitcoin reserve.
Yep.
Basically buy up Bitcoin for the United States to have that in reserve, and eventually, possibly, maybe, pay off the $35 trillion in debt that we have with some Bitcoin.
JD Vance is debating tomorrow with Tim Waltz. JD Vance has, talked about cryptocurrency, staying, not having as much government regulation over it, et cetera. What are your guys' thoughts on JD Vance and Trump and their thoughts on movement, their thoughts on cryptocurrency?
Right. So overall, the Republican Party is very pro-crypto. It started with the Libertarian Party being extremely pro-crypto. It's kind of bled in because, everyone's saying the far right and all this other stuff, but it's kind of bled into the whole Republican Party back in crypto. And it's put the Democrats into a really kind of interesting position where they're having to placate crypto too now. Okay. So all parties are giving something to crypto. We're like, no, we like crypto, because it's become like a big political issue.
Yeah, there was actually a thing called Operation Choke Point 2.0. That's the name that crypto people have given this operation, because it was Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Biden, and a few people in their cabinet who basically I think it was the beginning of 2023, maybe even into late 2022, basically made a behind the scenes group of people that are like, okay, let's get, crypto slowed down. So that's why Gary Gensler's been so adamant against crypto, the head of the SEC.
Yeah.
The SEC's anti-crypto, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump said that he was going to fire him on day one.
Fuck yeah.
And they cheered for him crazy.
Gary, your days are numbered.
It's over, bud.
But, seriously, everybody in crypto hates his ass, no matter their political leanings. And so it's kind of crazy to see the Democrats come out now in the last 1 week and say, oh, yeah, Kamala now has a idea about crypto, and she thinks,
I looked at the early life.
You know what?
Every time.
This guy, man.
Sorry, I had to just check. Early life, guys, every time with this dude. Continue on.
But
Gary Gensler.
Yeah, exactly, right? But you know what she said? She said in one of her speeches, she said, we want America to be a place of innovation where everything, gets better and da-da-da-da-da. She didn't say the word crypto. She said blockchain, right? And so for people outside of crypto, that's not such a big deal. It's like, yeah, is it the same thing? Yeah, technically it is. But the traditional people, they've kind of had this, because the media has vilified crypto so much.
Yeah.
They've had this, they don't want to look bad, right? So now that crypto is becoming like mainstream for richer people, Wall Street and all that, they're like, okay, we could talk about it. Now I can say I own Bitcoin and not look like a fool anymore. I actually look kind of smart.
I remember
now.
There was a time where if you said you had cryptocurrency, people would look at you like you're an idiot.
But that means the Democrats specifically, right? It's kind of a tip of the hand of what they really think about it. They're not going to come out here and say like, hey, let's get crypto, let's get Bitcoin, let's get this whole industry as part of our thing. Whereas Trump has said, let's make this entire industry the United States' strength. And the way that crypto is usually adopted is it's adopted from the bottom to the top, not the top to the bottom. So when you buy, let's say like a new stock, like something comes out on the market, average everyday Joe is not going to be able to buy that right away. It's going to be the rich people first, and then the average everyday Joe gets in last, right? Whereas with Bitcoin and crypto, most people think it's just for drug money on the internet. So the little guy gets in first, he gets rich, right? And then Wall Street finally gets in 16 freaking years later, right? And so that's the same way that it works for not only individuals, but corporations, organizations, and countries. So when we saw countries starting to adopt crypto, it was El Salvador, Bhutan. Bhutan has more Bitcoin than I think.
Where's Bhutan, Asia?
It's in the Himalayas. It has like 700,000 people. It's like right north of India. It's by Mount Everest, I guess. But they've been mining crypto off of, geothermal energy and stuff like that for years. They have now, I think it's over $1 billion of crypto, which is a third of their GDP.
No, damn.
33% of their entire country's GDP is Bitcoin. And so
30%.
Yes.
That's fucking wild.
And so you get these small countries basically adopting first, and then the big countries are like the Goliaths usually come in last.
Right.
But what Trump's trying to do is be like, let's not let all these other countries win
in ahead of us,
in that industry. We're the United States, right? We have Silicon Valley, we have Wall Street, we can do this. And so, he's way more proactive, and he's actually started his own.
Keep in mind, the Democrats, for those that guys, Obama had 8 years.
Yep.
Biden got 4.
Yep.
So 12 years of the last 15 have been run by Democrats.
Yep.
Right.
And they've been historically more regulation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's reel this stuff in. Oh, we don't really understand it, so fuck this. Let's ostracize it.
So much so that Larry Fink, BlackRock, NASDAQ, and a few others want to bring a market, basically a new Wall Street trading center to Texas. Lower taxes, not as much bullshit from the New York regulations, and then also Texas is a very big Bitcoin mining hub. Yep. So you have a lot of the ingredients for the United States to just kick ass and take names with
shout out to Peter Thiel.
cryptocurrency. Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot, and like Michael Saylor's done so much for this space as well, to get adoption from those types of people.
Peter Thiel's a crypto guy?
Crypto,
I thought it was more.
No, PayPal Mafia. He's all PayPal Mafia, but he's some of the money that's behind JD Vance as well.
Oh yeah, he's
for sure.
the main reason behind it.
So long story short, right? To put up that to finish up that point is just if the United States can kind of be a little bit more proactive and see that all these other countries are going to undercut it with this technology, then why don't they get ahead of it? And so which one's going to do that? It's not going to be the Democrats, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
We got a level 2 hype train going on right now.
And shout out to Vegeta 1984 gifted out 2 subs. Guys, again, the rule is if you're a brokey and you want to sub, we got a bunch of crypto people in here that got money. Maybe they'll go ahead and want to gift you a sub and be nice. Type in "I'm a brokey" in all caps in the chat, and they will go ahead and potentially give you a sub if you're nice. And we're 50% to a level 2 hype train. Just so you guys know, if we reach hype train level 10, like I always do, we'll gift you guys 50 subs. So let's go. Let's hit 10 level 10, and we'll see what happens from there.
I have a question. So Bitcoin itself, when it comes to mining and making Bitcoin,
right?
Is there ever going to be more Bitcoin or less? Is it going to be like a limited amount?
21 million.
21 million total.
Yeah.
But so we've already kind of hit this point where it's starting, not yet, but it's starting to get diminishing returns because, like we just had the halving earlier this year. Before that halving, we were mining 900 Bitcoin a day. Now it's 450. The next time it just keeps getting cut in half every 4 years. We're at 19 million total Bitcoin. So we're up to the, it's the last 2 million and some change. That's it.
And that's going to be mined from now until the year 2140.
Because I can only imagine.
Next 120 years.
These guys have a bunch of cash that they can just print out every single time they need money to escape, debt.
In the brokey, hey Miguel, taste can neither be bought nor sold. Taste can only be refined over the course of the Smurf. It's unbecoming. Bayern Jern Trump 2024.
Okay.
Is that a coin?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
He just said Smurf. Shout out to Timothy. Shout out to you, bro.
So I can only imagine they want to postpone as long as possible having Bitcoin as a main currency because they can't print money.
Yeah, they have to acquire it.
Print Bitcoin like they can print money.
Yeah, a lot of times the easiest way, because there's a lot of people that are like, what is Bitcoin? What is crypto? I don't even know. I've heard about it. I'm interested, but I don't even know what it is. Mm-hmm. The easiest math problem you can give somebody to tell if they're like, I don't know if I should say it. I don't know what you guys can say this shit on your podcast, right? Yeah. So basically to tell if somebody's or not, right?
Okay, yeah.
If they're at a certain level where they're just not going to be able to do it, it's just like, all right, we'll leave you to the side. But basically the math problem is, we have basically the dollar, which is your money divided by or over infinity, right? Versus you have Bitcoin, which is your money divided or over 21 million. Which one do you think is going to make you more money? Which one is going to keep your value? Which one's going to increase your value, right? If something has infinite supply, it's worthless, essentially, right? Or it becomes more worthless. So exactly what you said.
Today's sponsor is Be Naked. After 30, your testosterone drops by 2% every year. Yeah, that's right. While you're out here scrolling TikTok, your masculinity is packing his bags. But you don't have to be that guy. Step up with Naked Organs. This ain't no soy boy supplement. This is straight up 100% bison organs, liver, kidney, heart. The stuff men have been using for centuries to stay sharp, strong, and keep their testosterone sky high. Forget your vegan pea protein, quinoa, or whatever weak sauce they're pushing. This is Primal Power, packed with B12, iron, and zinc. Real nutrients that your body needs to stay jacked and ready to dominate. Go to BeNaked.com, use code FRESH, and get 50% off. Keep your masculinity in check, guys. Code word FRESH. BeNaked.com, use code fresh for 15% off.